Hey y'all, Ryan Hodge, CEO, BlackFolkHotspots.com, and today we have a special guest. We got episode 30. We're in episode 30 of Support Black Business TV. Now, if you've been following us through our episodes, we're taking a step back because we had to reschedule this one. So we just kept the episode number, but this is what would have been episode 30. And we're on today with the CEO, Lennis Dionne Sample of love of language. And there's some really cool things, and I've been talking to Lennis for probably a year or two, and it's so many different things that even come to my mind that I've never even thought about as a business. And this is one, especially as a Black person. I don't know why I didn't even think about this, but I guess it makes so much sense. So and today we're gonna talk about a few things. We're gonna talk about our business, and then we're gonna look at some other things. So, Lennis, how you doing today?
I am amazing. I'm amazing. How are you?
Unbelievable. Can't complain. It's bright and sunny. It's not too hot, not too cold, but it's a great day. So, how's things? You're in North Carolina, huh? In Raleigh?
I am.
Okay.
I am. I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Okay. Now look, do me a favor. Let's jump right in this. Tell me, tell us about your business. Tell us about what you do and how you came about moving in that direction.
Okay. My company, Love of Language by LDS LLC, is a Christian-based mobile foreign language immersion program. So I go to different daycare centers, preschools, after-school programs, homeschool groups, and private schools, and I bring a full Spanish immersion experience to the facility. But I go well beyond letters, numbers, basics and stuff like that. My students can hold a basic conversation within a matter of weeks with me. We explore a different Spanish-speaking country every month. This month we're in Puerto Rico, so we explore a different Spanish-speaking country every month. We do a project associated with that country, and I talk about the influences of African culture on Spanish and Latin American culture. So it's a very, very unique program. Nobody is really doing what I'm doing. So I've carved out a niche for myself, but it's exciting, and everybody loves it when they hear it. And I'm growing, going and doing things bigger and better. I'm salsa dancing into year 3. So yeah, but I got into it. I was a teacher for Wake County Public Schools, and I was on a terminating contract. And I just needed to do something to keep, I knew the contract was going to renew in August, and I just needed something over the summer to keep the money coming, So I had a friend that has a daycare that wanted me to teach Spanish at her daycare center. So one daycare center turned to 3. 3 of them turned to 6. And in a short time, I was bringing home, working for myself without bringing home, working for the county. And I had to make a choice, so I did. I created a business and, talked to somebody very special to me about my the business name, and I jumped both feet into it and put in my letter of resignation like a week before I was supposed to start. But yeah, and I've been doing it ever since.
That's interesting because it's funny because just like my daughter's quinceañera is Saturday, this Saturday.
Okay.
So and it's funny because because that was something that as a kid that her mom was teaching her Spanish, and as a child, she would talk to as she started speaking Spanish, she would talk to me in English and talk to her mama in Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
And at an early age, I was like, this kid's pretty intelligent. She already knows. She's like, her dad doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. So she was, and it was different because she'll go from room to room, English over here, Spanish over here. And I'm like, okay. But then her mom stopped talking to her in Spanish. And then now they want to blame it on me because I did used to say, but I was always kidding, like, y'all gonna be talking English in this house, so I know what y'all saying. And so she said that was the reason why she stopped teaching her. But since she'll be a freshman this year in high school, so she's been taking Spanish for the last 2 years, and she's actually picking it back up. I'm like, it should be easy. You should know most of the words, but I know it's different in just conversational Spanish and written Spanish. Am I correct in my thinking?
It is. I mean, it takes different skills. So just speaking takes a little less effort than writing and even reading in Spanish. But I think that's interesting that you said that. I just read statistical information because I'm a lifelong learner that 80% of people in the United States only speak one language, whereas by age 9 in Europe, children, and that's where I come in. In order for anybody, especially our children, African American children, minority children, whatever, in order for them to have a leg up in this world, in this global economy, they're going to have to be bilingual and at least bilingual. And Spanish just happens to be my thing. Over the next 3 to 5 years, my goal is not just to offer Spanish. I'm a Spanish teacher, but my goal is to offer about 8 other languages. Italian, Portuguese, French, German, Russian, Arabic, so I have a plan. I have my Spanish immersion summer camp, which is starting next year. And what I'm doing in Spanish, I'm duplicating. My goal is to duplicate what I'm doing in Spanish in every other language that I'm offering. So my summer camp will have cooking classes. My summer camp will have, field trips. At the end of the summer camp will be an excursion. So the parents will be the chaperones, and we will actually go to Puerto Rico. We'll actually go to Cuba. We'll actually go to Costa Rica and experience the sights, sounds, tastes, smells of that country. All the things that they've been learning about, they'll get to actually experience it. My goal is to provide a more enriching and enhanced learning experience for my students that are learning another language.
That's pretty interesting because that's something that I didn't necessarily think about. And so you should be partnering with a travel agent right now. Because
I should be. I really should be, because that's my goal. And there are a couple of private schools that have sought me, and they are interested in my program. And I'm also in the works. I'm working on creating relationships with teachers in Spanish-speaking countries, so we can do like an exchange. So maybe once a week or once a month or something like that, like a classroom in Venezuela where they're learning English can talk to my students here in the United States that are learning Spanish, and we can do like an intercambio, which is an exchange in Spanish. But we can set up a relationship, and maybe during the excursion, depending on what country we go to, they could actually see the school and meet the students that they've been talking to via Skype or whatever over the course of the school year. So I mean that's one of my goals is to broaden the horizons and kind of break the ignorance of students, no matter what culture, race, whatever they are. The fact that they only speak one language, I think, is sad, because we're the only country in the world that does that.
I only speak one. Well, I speak one language, and I speak curse words.
Okay.
Yeah.
So curse words are still English. Ebonics, relatively English.
No.
I might give you some credit.
I know words like Besamakuta, Bendeo.
Oh my gosh.
I know, like a Hebada.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, okay.
Those are all words that I say to my daughter's mama. No.
Oh my God.
It's funny because I think those are the only words that my dad knew. So
That's
when
funny.
I think freshman year, sophomore year in high school, and I was taking Spanish, my dad was looking at my schedule, and he was like, "I know this lady, my Spanish teacher,"
Mhm.
and he was like, "I know her," and he was like, um, when I came, I think the first couple of days he was like, just confirming who she was, and it was actually a classmate of his that and he was and she was he told me to go and ask her, told her that I knew a couple words in Spanish, and he was like bendejo, uh besamacura.
Oh my gosh.
And so I did that, and the look on her face was like, are you freaking kidding me?
Right, because that's the
Like,
look I would have on my face. Like, are you serious?
right, like,
I would have the same look. Seriously.
I know that most of the students in this class have no clue, what you're saying, but and it was just funny. And then she was like, the look, she just was speechless, right? And then I was like, my dad wanted me to ask you that, and she's like, who's your father? And I told her. She was like, oh, tell him I said what's up, and don't you ever say those words again.
Right, don't you ever say that again. Wow.
But that's funny
crazy.
because those are the only words he knew in Spanish too. But yeah, so back in this, that's a really interesting concept. Do you think it's easier for children to learn Spanish versus adults, or another language rather?
It is actually easier for children to learn Spanish. First of all, because they don't know anything. So anything you teach them is going to be new.
Okay, true.
Older people, children older than 6, 8, 10, whatever, anybody can learn a foreign language. And research has actually shown one of the benefits of being bilingual or knowing more than one language, because bilingual is only 2 languages, but knowing more than one language has even shown improvement in memory in dementia and Alzheimer's patients. So you can learn, anybody can learn a foreign language. Of course, the older you get, the more effort it takes, but it can be done.
Now, I also want to add that, and I'm sure you know this, English is a second language or Spanish is a first language. I don't know. Spanish is a first language, if that's even a term.
Spanish is my second language.
Okay.
Spanish, yeah.
I would assume that, but last year, I was in Seattle, and I caught the train back to Chicago from Seattle, and I met some people who, just because, I don't know if you ever written on the Amtrak for any amount of distance.
I have.
So you understand that, actually the seats are way more comfortable than plane seats or this, that, and the other. Secondly, you stuck on there, and you stuck with these people for X amount of hours, unless they getting off and getting on or whatever.
Or days.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was 2 days, and it was, you eating with these people, you doing this, and I didn't know, when it came time for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, that they just called, okay, y'all up next. So you end up sitting down, eating with these people, and this, that, and the other. Well, this one lady was like, all I do is travel, and I'm like, that's all you do? She's like, yeah, I travel. I go from country to country to country. And I'm like, and in the conversation, I was letting her talk. And then finally I said, how do you do that? I mean, do you have a trust fund or something? Are you like independently wealthy? And she was like, no. And I'm like, really? She's like, listen, and you can do it too if you want to. She was like, you can go to other countries and teach English.
Oh, yeah. My sister teaches English in China. My sister and my brother-in-law teach. They live in
Now,
Shanghai.
do you have to know Chinese to teach English?
Nope, you don't.
So what are you going?
They know
like,
now.
Okay,
they've been there 5 years. So and she teaches at the international school, and she runs their technology department. But when she first moved there, she didn't know a stitch of Chinese, not an ounce, not one bit. She knows it now. She knows it now, but she didn't know it when she moved there.
And that's pretty interesting because she was saying that she was like, and they pay good money, and you could pick your locations, and
Yeah.
you can do this, do that. I was like, wow, and my sister was like, that was the wrong person for you to meet because you'll be gone next week. Because I'm like, because because that's something where it was just I had just posted something to the Black Folk Hotspots fan page about this couple who had gotten married, and when they got married, what they did is instead of just going on a regular honeymoon, they went on an infinite, I guess, honeymoon. They've been honeymooning for like 3 years. What they basically did is they sold all the stuff they had here, and they've been traveling for 3 years, going from country to country to country. And it's in the article, which so many times I have to tell people, did you read the articles? Then some guy comments, he was like, they must be wealthy. And these people, and it's in the thing that saying that, they use their basic skills that they had, and they're either helping people out with book, like I think the lady, she was like a receptionist or something like that, or admin assistant. So she was helping certain places out in bookkeeping and getting organized and stuff in exchange for, room and board and some extra dollars. And her husband is like a graphic artist. And he was a bartering system. And he was a graphic artist, so he's been painting murals in different countries and different things. And I'm like, that's really interesting. And then I think one of them ended up teaching. I think the wife ended up teaching, like in a couple countries, teaching English. Yeah. But it's something that I want to learn. I mean, more than just conjugating verbs, what we did in high school, some 25 years ago plus. But
okay, so verb conjugation is important. I mean, don't discredit verb conjugation, because you have to be able to, in order to hold a conversation, you can't just talk in the present tense, or you can't just talk in the past tense. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's important to do. That's not the only thing, but it is rather important. But
it seemed like that's what I'm saying is in high school. It seemed like that's all we did. No sotros. It seemed like como estamos te llamas. I don't know, but I'm just trying. Just the little things that it's just. But so here's. So it seems like from the last time that we spoken, it seems like you're doing even more. You're really it's growing. Like I said, it would. I thought, and I think you knew that too, but and now that you found a new platform that works with the Google Hangouts, that just opens your door up to a whole thing. Because have you considered? Because I know we had talked about maybe tutoring, where a parent can book 30-minute time or 15-minute time slot with you to go over their kids' homework, because you would have to help my daughter if she needed help. Well, not in my case, because her mom speaks Spanish and her husband speaks Spanish, so it probably wouldn't be as much. But on the educational side, I could see a parent needing help. Like, I don't know what the heck this shit is.
Right.
That's something.
I mean, well, and one of the things that I'm also working on is webinars. So for business people maybe that want to learn Spanish or whatever language, because I'm not just offering Spanish, I can do Spanish, but there will come a point where I'm not going to be so intricately involved. Like, I will hire people to do the things that I'm doing. But what like I said, I'm going to duplicate what I'm doing in all the languages that I plan on offering. My book series will be in Spanish, but it'll also be in every language that I'm offering. My characters in my Spanish book will be the same type of characters in all the other languages. So the more my vision grows, the less intricately involved I can't be this involved in the more I grow. So I need to and I've had to come to grips with, I'm growing bigger than the demand. The demand is growing bigger than I can do by myself. So yeah, it's really growing into something pretty incredible. And it's awesome. You know, I have a summer camp that's starting in 2016. I have a track out camp because here in North Carolina, they have a year-round school where you're in school, the students are in school for 9 weeks and out for 3. So those 3 weeks, the kids do something. So why not learn to have like a full immersion experience? I just started mommy and me classes for parents that want to, you know, start with their children around 18 months or 3 years old or whatever. Start learning Spanish. But one of the other things that I'm working on is webinars. For lunchtime, they can learn Spanish. And they can, you know, do it on their own time. They just dial into the webinar, and they can do a course if they wanted to, you know, continue with the coursework. Then they would have, you know, like membership access. They would pay like a monthly membership fee, and they would have access to pre-recorded lessons, and they can do activities on the website. And, you know, so I'm working on all of these different things. They have to score a certain amount before they can move on to the next lesson, you know, all this kind of thing. So,
see, I think all that is awesome, and I really do. I think I could see that. I could see you like being the Black Rosetta Stone, but because that's something that's important, and it is something that I'm going to do. Especially if, you know, you got people traveling, going places. I know that they want to speak the language, and I'll tell you something that my little brother did. He majored in English and Spanish, and I think it was, well, he majored in English in college or liberal arts and something like that. I don't know, but I know that he went to Venezuela and stayed with a Spanish-speaking family to where they only spoke Spanish for either a semester or a year. I can't remember either one. And it helped him perfect his Spanish.
Yeah, you're forced to think. When nobody is speaking English to you, you have to think about what you're saying. You have to think about conjugation. You have to think about tenses. You have to think about if you're saying you look like a dog or I'd like to get a dog. Like, you have to think about you're very cognizant of what you're saying, how you're saying, whatever it is you're trying to say, idiomatic expressions, all of these things. So it definitely is definitely a benefit. And just your critical thinking skills, your analytical skills, your grammar, your writing skills, all of these things improve because in your native language, you can be careless and haphazard, but in a foreign language, you spend a lot of time making sure that you're right, making sure that you make sense. So you have to make sure that your tense is correct, your grammar is correct, subject verb agreement, adjectives, all of these things line up. You know, so yeah, it's definitely beneficial. I haven't had a vacation since I started my business. And I am ready to go somewhere with no Americans, no English speaking, somewhere out of this country. I don't want to hear any English. I want somebody to speak Spanish to me all day, whatever, 3-4 days, whatever. Yeah.
I was gonna say you can just go to California. They say like Los Angeles is 70% Mexican, or
I'd rather go to Miami because I have this fascination with Cuba. Even though Argentina is my most favorite Spanish-speaking country in the world, I want to go to Miami just because of the Cuban population.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to Cuba. It's like time frozen right now in 1962, and I want to get there before they modern it up. Like, I gotta see it stuck in the time capsule.
You're right. That's a good idea. Because that's what's going to happen, and I still want to.
Oh, it's happening. Oh yeah, Hilton has already got their hands in it. Carnival Cruises already got their toe in it. Big toe dipped in the pool of travel and tourism in Cuba, and I'm trying to get there before any of that happens. I want to see it stuck in 1962. The cars, the fashion, everything. I want to see it right as it is right now. I mean, that's history right there.
That is a good idea. Right.
That's what I want. But excursions with my summer camp. I have things lined up. I'm actually participating in a healthy communities walk, which is taking place in October 10th, here in Raleigh, North Carolina, in Southeast Raleigh. It's a historical walk from Shaw University, the first, I think, historically black college. So it's like a historical walk, and it ends at Chavis Park. And at this Healthy Communities Walk, I will have an international corner where you will get a passport. And 14 different countries will be represented, some Spanish speaking, some not. But the countries that will be represented also represents the languages that I will be offering through my company. So it's almost like a showcase and an unveiling of the growth that I'm working towards.
That that's pretty awesome. I mean, it really is. And I'm not just saying that. I just know that any, things that, because I do think we need to know that. And yeah. So look, something that really caught me was, and I thought that was probably the most brilliant thing that you had thought of for your business, was the homeschooling aspect, because that's number one. It's growing huge, and that's something that it could kind of fall a little bit on by the wayside, because a lot of us don't speak Spanish. So if I was homeschooling my daughter, I would be like, well, how am I supposed to do this part, right? And the fact that you can come in or dial in, however they would do it, that is something that's very, very interesting. And now that you have these people that are forming these homeschooling groups that are getting really, really big, plus just black people in general too, even black people, that just are sick of the school systems,
right?
Because that's blowing up like nobody's business, and they're forming organizations, which I seriously would do that. I mean, although I don't think my daughter would be too happy about that right about now. She's a freshman. She's been with her friends forever. Heck, I can't even come pick her up on the weekends, because she's like, I got stuff to do, Poppy. I got friends and people to see. I'm like, what? I mean, what about me here? But she rocks and rolls, and we lost Lennis, but I think she can get back in. And if she can't, I showed you guys her profile, and I'll show it to you guys again on Black Folk Hotspot, so that you can check her out. And definitely you can see the link in the description to go to her website to get her contact information, and which was pretty much the next step we were going to do. But it's blackfolkhotspots.com. You can put into the search bar Lennis sample, and it'll come up. Or you can put in the keywords like Raleigh, North Carolina, or you can do language of love, whatever, or you can just Google it, or you can just look in the description of the video, and you'll get the information to direct connect with her as well. So one of the things that I want to say when I wrap this up is, if you're a black business owner, you're watching this, go create a profile at blackfolkhotspots.com. You see it on the screen. You see it below in the description, so that we can introduce your business to our 2,100 members on Black Folk Hotspots, 2,100 plus business owners on Black Folk Hotspots, black business owners on Black Folk Hotspots, and our audience of well over 250,000 people. Also, make sure you go look in the description below and the link, and get the description and buy a t-shirt. It's like $17, right? And this really helps, us keep, costs down, so that we can be more affordable to our business owners, to help them get more exposure. Plus, this thing just says stuff, right? It talks without even speaking. I mean, people walk up to you to ask you for your business card. They'll say, hey, give you a thumbs up. Like, I really like that. We really do need, it'll start conversations with people who may not be business owners. But just because we know. And it's like that subliminal message of saying we need to do this. A lot of people don't like Donald Trump. They don't like to, to hear these things. But I heard something the other day that he said, he was talking about China. He's talking about Mexico. He's like, hey, we don't got to go to war with these people. Right. But I'll tell you what, when we hit them in the wealth pockets, they'll start to listen, and they'll want to get to that table a whole lot faster. And that's the same thing. We need to, as Black business owners, we want to get our power. We want to rebuild our communities and help our communities grow and this, that, and the other, and wonder why the police are stomping us out all the time. Then you know what? We need to start, putting that money within ourselves and things like that, so that so that we can get that respect back, start building wealth in our communities, so that we can hire people. You heard Lennis talk about that she's growing to where she's gonna have employees, and that's our goal at Black Folk Hotspots. Our goal is to help, get more exposure for these business owners, so that they can actually start to hire people, so they can have more work than they can handle, so that they have to hire a couple people, this, that, and the other. Because once you do that, you start putting money back in the communities and this, that, and the other. And then next thing you know, we're starting to get a seat at the table, in the table. The playing field gets a little bit leveled. Well, anyway, we got Lennis back. Lennis, I'm gonna let you have the final word before we wrap this up. I know you got a meeting you got to go to. Plus, I got another meeting. Tell people how they can get a hold to you.
You can get in touch with me. I have a Facebook page. I actually have interns that will be starting next week. So they will be building my website, and they will be shadowing me as I teach and doing videos, so I can send demos out to people that want me to come out and do a demo. I can actually send them a video. But I'm on Facebook, Love of Language LLC. So please like my page. I'm on Twitter, LO Language LLC on Twitter. I'm on Periscope at Meredith Angel 08. My email, loveoflanguagellc@gmail, or you can just call.
You just call. She likes to talk. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway.
Oh my God.
But no, on a serious tip though, Lennis, I really appreciate you finally getting the hang of Google Hangouts.
Yes.
We had some technical difficulties, but people, seriously, it's really simple once you sit back and relax. And a lot of things that I found in life, it's sort of like when you misplace your car keys at home and you're trying to run out the door and you're frantic because you can't find them. And all you have to do sometimes is just sit down and be like, oh, shoot, I left them in the bathroom.
Right.
I wear glasses, so if I don't leave them in the same spot, and I'm running out the door, I'm like, where did I put them? Where did I put them? And then I just sit back and I'm like, okay, when I came in, I went straight to the bedroom. Or I went, and they'll be sitting on the dresser, whereas they're not on the counter. Because I don't wear my glasses in the house typically. They're I'm just not that, my eyesight is not like that yet. Or hopefully never. I'm eating carrots. But no, this has been a great interview. We do things like this. Lennis, we need to get that page updated with some things, some new stuff that you're doing. This video will be up on your page, and I think that you should do more videos. There's also some other new tools out there, like the Periscopes of the world, where it's just basically a live streaming that you do from your cell phone. And just there's also obviously Google Hangouts, and because those things, it starts to attract people that ordinarily you may not be exposed to. Being in Raleigh, maybe they're in California, maybe they're here and this, that, and the other, and they want to bring in a whole group. Maybe they want to get together once a week. These homeschooling organizations get together once a week and let you teach to the kids, or and do it by a big screen. Because what I usually do sometimes is I could take this whole screen and I could put this screen on on my television, on my large screen, you know,
Well,
and so you can interact in the same way. That's the one thing is this world is so big, but I wish you much success. I can't wait. Matter of fact, that's my next thing to do is to learn Spanish. Um, instead of the curse words, just a couple that I know, and then
there you
calling
go.
people old ladies and hillbillies. Um, but yeah.
So funny.
So anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up because I gotta go, and if I gotta make this appointment on time, or I'm gonna get chewed out.
Oh,
Um, good luck on your appointment later on. Thanks for coming on. We'll talk soon. If you guys need to contact her, like she said, she gave you information. Just hit the rewind button, uh, or you can go in the description below and click the link to our Black Folk Hotspots page, and it'll take you to our Twitters and our Facebook and things like that, and you can connect there as well as the website. So thanks, guys, for watching. Episode 30 is in the books. Now we can move forward with our life. Talk to you guys later with episodes 36 and 37. Peace. Thank you.
thank you.
All right. Bye. Have a good day.
Thanks.